The escape from Alcatraz. Did they survive? Welcome to Mysteries and Things, where we delve into some of the most intriguing and perplexing stories from history. Alcatraz. Just the name conjures up images of cold, damp cells, unyielding iron bars, and some of the most notorious criminals in American history. This island fortress, nestled in the chilly waters of San Francisco Bay, was designed to be inescapable. And for many years, it was. But on a foggy night in June 1962, three men did the unthinkable. They vanished into the dark waters, leaving behind a mystery that has intrigued and baffled for decades. Did they make it to freedom, or did the frigid waters claim them as their own? In today's episode, we explore this daring escape, diving deep into the lives of the escapees, the meticulous planning behind their breakout, and the enduring mystery of their fate. If you enjoy unraveling historical mysteries, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to Mysteries and Things, and leave a comment with your thoughts on whether you think they survived. Now, let's dive into the story of the Great Escape from Alcatraz. Picture this, a rocky island, often shrouded in mist, with the icy waves of the Pacific crashing relentlessly against its shores. Welcome to Alcatraz, America's ultimate penitentiary. The daily routine here was as monotonous as it was harsh. Inmates spent most of their time confined to small, dank cells, with only a few hours allotted for exercise or work. It was a place designed to break spirits and contain the country's most incorrigible offenders. Life in Alcatraz was a stark contrast to the outside world. The prison operated on a strict schedule. Wake-up calls at 6:30 a.m., followed by breakfast, work assignments, lunch, more work, dinner, and finally, lights out at 9:30 p.m. The cells measured a mere 5 by 9 feet, providing just enough space for a bed, a toilet, and a small sink. Privacy was non-existent, and the constant surveillance added to the sense of oppression. The food, surprisingly, was often considered some of the best in the federal prison system. The administration believed that well-fed inmates would be less likely to cause trouble. However, this small comfort did little to alleviate the overall harshness of life on the rock. Inmates had limited opportunities for recreation, with the prison yard offering the only real chance for fresh air and physical activity. Meet Frank Morris, the mastermind behind the Great Escape. Born into a troubled family, Morris had a rough start and quickly found himself on the wrong side of the law. With a high IQ and a knack for getting into trouble, he was transferred to Alcatraz after repeated escape attempts from other prisons. His intelligence and resourcefulness would prove crucial in orchestrating the escape plan. Frank Lee Morris was born on September 1, 1926 in Washington, D.C. His early life was marred by instability, leading to a series of foster homes and eventually juvenile detention centers. By his teenage years, Morris had already developed a reputation for being a skilled escape artist. His criminal record included burglary, armed robbery, and narcotics offenses. Morris's intellect was one of his defining features. With an IQ reportedly above 130, he possessed the cunning and strategic thinking necessary for planning a complex escape. His time in Alcatraz was marked by good behavior, which allowed him certain privileges and access to areas that would later prove vital for the escape plan. Next up, the Anglin brothers, John and Clarence. These two were as thick as thieves, literally and figuratively. Raised in a family of seasonal farm workers and fishermen, they developed strong swimming skills early on. Their criminal careers, primarily involving bank robberies, eventually landed them in Alcatraz. Their brotherly bond and determination were key components in the escape. John William Anglin was born on May 2, 1930, and Clarence Anglin followed on May 11, 1931. The Anglin family moved frequently, following the harvest season. This nomadic lifestyle instilled in the brothers a sense of resilience and adaptability. The Anglins were known for their close-knit family ties and loyalty to one another. The brothers' criminal activities began with petty theft, but soon escalated to more serious offenses, including bank robbery. Their downfall came when they were caught robbing the Columbia Savings Bank in Alabama in 1958. Sentenced to 15-20 years, they were eventually transferred to Alcatraz due to their repeated escape attempts from other prisons. In the oppressive monotony of prison life, the seeds of escape took root. Morris, along with the Anglin brothers, spent months observing, planning, and preparing. they found a small, vulnerable vent behind their cells and began the painstaking process of widening it using stolen spoons and discarded saw blades. It was a task that required both patience and stealth. The conception of the escape plan can be traced back to the shared cells in D Block, where Morris and the Anglins were housed. The idea of escaping Alcatraz was not new, but previous attempts had ended in failure or death. However, Morris's keen observations and analytical mind recognized a weakness in the cell's ventilation system that had been overlooked by others. The cells in Alcatraz had small ventilation grills at the back, which led into an unguarded utility corridor. Morris realized that if they could enlarge these vents, they could access the corridor and move about the prison without being seen. The plan required not just physical labor, but also careful timing and coordination to avoid detection by the guards. The trio's plan was nothing short of genius. Using a variety of tools and materials, they created an elaborate scheme to escape. They fashioned life vests and a raft from raincoats, carefully stitched together with threads pilfered from the prison. The preparation also involved making dummy heads from a mixture of soap, toilet paper, and real human hair, which they placed in their beds to deceive the guards. The tools and materials used in the escape were ingeniously crafted from everyday items available in the prison. The inmates acquired spoons from the mess hall, which they then sharpened into makeshift chisels. These tools were used to scrape away the concrete around the ventilation grills. Over several months, they managed to create holes large enough to crawl through. The life vests and raft were made from raincoats, a common item in the prison commissary. Morris and the Anglins meticulously stitched these together using thread from the prison shop and inflated them using a concertina, a small accordion-like instrument. The raft was designed to be large enough to support all three men and their gear during the treacherous swim to freedom. The dummy heads were another stroke of genius. Made from a mixture of soap, toilet paper, and paint, they were remarkably lifelike. Real human hair collected from the prison barbershop added the final touch. These heads were placed in the beds to fool the guards during nighttime bed checks, giving the escapees a crucial head start. The night of June 11th, 1962, was shrouded in darkness and fog, perfect conditions for an escape. The men crawled through their enlarged vents into a utility corridor, then climbed up a series of pipes to reach the roof. From there, they descended 50 feet down the side of the cell house and made their way to the water's edge. Inflating their makeshift raft with a concertina-like accordion, they set off into the unknown. The night was chosen carefully, taking into account the tides and the minimal guard shifts. The escape began at lights out, around 9:30 p.m. Morris and the Anglins moved swiftly but cautiously, knowing that any noise could alert the guards. They navigated the utility corridor, climbed up a series of pipes, and reached the roof without incident. Once on the roof, they moved towards the northeast side of the cell house, where they used a makeshift rope made from electrical cords to descend to the ground. They then scaled the 12-foot barbed wire fence and made their way to the shoreline. The final challenge was to inflate the raft, a task that required both speed and precision. Using the concertina, they managed to inflate the raft and set off into the cold, foggy waters of San Francisco Bay. Morning broke, and with it came the realization that something was amiss. During the routine bed check, the guards discovered the dummy heads and the vacant cells. Panic ensued. The unthinkable had happened. Alcatraz had been breached. The discovery of the escape was a monumental shock to the prison staff. Alcatraz, known for its impenetrable security, had been outsmarted. The guards quickly raised the alarm, and the prison went into lockdown. The warden, Paul J. Madigan, and his staff were at a loss, scrambling to piece together how the escape had been executed and how they could contain the situation. The FBI and other law enforcement agencies launched one of the most extensive manhunts in history. They scoured the bay, the surrounding areas, and even extended their search nationwide. Despite their efforts, no trace of the escapees was found. The discovery of a paddle and some personal items floating in the bay suggested that the men might have drowned, but nothing conclusive emerged. The search involved helicopters, boats, and ground teams combing the surrounding areas. The Coast Guard patrolled the waters, while local police checked the shores and nearby towns. The search extended for several days, but there were no sightings or solid leads. The only evidence found was a paddle and a few personal items believed to belong to the escapees. discovered floating near Angel Island. The investigation delved into the details of the escape plan. The FBI interviewed other inmates, reviewed prison records, and examined the tools and materials left behind. They concluded that the plan was incredibly well organized and executed, indicating a high level of intelligence and preparation. Despite the extensive search and investigation, the fate of the escapees remained a mystery. Did they survive? That's the million-dollar question. Some believe the escapees perished in the cold, unforgiving waters of San Francisco Bay. Others, buoyed by sporadic reports and alleged sightings over the years, argue that they made it to freedom. The FBI officially closed the case in 1979, concluding that the men most likely drowned. But tantalizing hints and clues continue to fuel speculation. One theory posits that the escapees drowned shortly after entering the bay. The waters of San Francisco Bay are notoriously cold and choppy, with strong currents that could easily overwhelm even the strongest swimmers. The lack of any conclusive evidence of survival, such as sightings or communication from the escapees, supports this theory. However, there have been numerous reported sightings and alleged contact from the escapees over the years. Some claim to have seen Morris and the Anglins in various locations across the United States, and even abroad. In 2013, a letter surfaced, purportedly from John Anglin, claiming that he and his brother had survived the escape and lived in anonymity for decades. The FBI has not confirmed the authenticity of the letter, leaving the mystery unresolved. The 1962 escape from Alcatraz has become a cultural phenomenon. Books, movies, and documentaries have immortalized the daring breakout, each adding its own twist to the enduring mystery. Clint Eastwood's 1979 film, Escape from Alcatraz, brought the story to a wider audience, cementing its place in pop culture. The story of the escape has captured the public's imagination, inspiring numerous works of fiction and non-fiction. The mystery and intrigue surrounding the escape make it a compelling subject for storytellers and audiences alike. The tale of ingenuity, determination, and the quest for freedom resonates with people on a fundamental level, transcending time and geography. The escape led to significant changes in prison security across the United States. It highlighted vulnerabilities and prompted a re-evaluation of procedures and protocols. Alcatraz itself was closed a year later in 1963, with officials citing the high cost of operation and maintenance. The escape played no small part in this decision, showcasing the need for a more secure and economically viable solution to housing America's most dangerous criminals. The legacy of the escape from Alcatraz extends beyond the confines of the prison itself. It prompted a broader discussion about prison reform and the treatment of inmates. The escape demonstrated that even the most secure facilities are not infallible, leading to improvements in security measures and prison design. The escape from Alcatraz remains one of the most compelling and enduring mysteries in American criminal history. The meticulous planning, the daring execution, and the subsequent manhunt are a testament to the ingenuity and determination of the escapees. Whether Morris and the Anglin brothers survived their perilous journey remains unknown. Their story, however, is a powerful reminder of the human spirit's relentless quest for freedom. It challenges us to consider the lengths to which individuals will go to reclaim their liberty, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable odds. Thank you for joining us on Mysteries and Things as we unraveled the enigma of the Alcatraz escape. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your theories and thoughts in the comments below. Do you think they made it? Until next time, keep exploring the mysteries of our world.